Today I'm going to talk about something that is kind of, well, it has been a bit uncomfortable for me for some time, but I got my license. What? But after 30, girl. After 30. Who does that, right? I do. I don't know. I guess East Coasters do too sometimes. But so to give you a brief rundown history of my situation, I had a very, 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 very big fear of driving. Very huge, to me, was like a stronghold on my life. Like, I was just even anxious when other people were driving, and a lot of that has to do with my personal history. So for one, when my mom was like 8 months pregnant with me, she got into a car accident. Not a good time. Then as like growing up through the years, even with friends when I was like a teenager and stuff, and then like older in my 20s, I was always like in cars with people that got in accidents, like fender benders to like, you know, just situations. I remember this one time,
a family member, I won't say which one,
ran into the back of a truck by the train tracks, and it just was like, why does this happen? As a teenager, I was just like busy with extracurricular activities. You know, it just wasn't really something important. All of my friends had cars, the type of school I went to, so they kind of drove me around when we wanted to do things. My mom always took me places. It just wasn't that big a deal. When I got a job in my 20s, I would just like walk to the bus, take the bus, like, not
that the bus was fun, okay? Not that the bus was fun.
So there were times that sucked. Then I've taken trains places. I fly. I do everything but drive at this point in my life. I also took the permit test like 12 times in a row. Like,
what? 12 times?
And I passed every single time. I just would never make a driving appointment. Some of that is because there was a season where people were like, it's my only
car. I can't let you practice in my only car. Like, I need my only car. And
so like, I kind of get that. But at the same time, I was just like, I really needed somebody to just make me drive. A couple people did along the years. I'll say that. Like, a couple people took me out driving, but it just never like sunk in and felt like good, you know? So when I was turning 32, I decided, you know what? It's time. Like, I have places to be. I gotta be going back and forth to LA.
I need to like get around, and I'm tired of this 3-hour commute and whatever.
So with no hopes of getting a car, I'm in school, so that means I'm not like really doing this stuff. I'm not really blogging. I'm not really consulting much. So I'm like,
what do you think you're doing? Like, in the
back of my head, you know, I go and take my test a week before my 32nd birthday. Child, why did I do that to myself? So, yeah, it was raining.
Oh, joy!
It's raining. So it's raining. I was using my dad's car. Suck at driving that car. So it's raining. The girl comes out to take over somebody else. My window's down. And she's telling her coworker, I didn't want to come out here. I'm just going to do one and go back inside. They should cancel the tests on rainy days.
Why? So I'm just
like, oh, great. Just great. This girl doesn't even want to be out here. So, yeah, we get out the driveway. I make a right turn. And then because it was raining, like the DMV I was at has a lot of big rigs by it. So because of the rain, I'm sure that this man just stopped because he was like, I don't want to slide on this like curve of a street. I'm going to let this little car go. And then he like did that thing where people like flash their lights at you because it's your turn to go. And so, yeah, like I was just sitting there and I'm like, I know it's not my right of way. I know he doesn't have a stop. I know that I shouldn't go, but he keeps flashing his lights. And at this point, he honked his horn. So I like am waiting kind of for an indicator from her, but she just keeps saying like, go ahead and make a right turn when you're ready. And then she said it 3 times. And the 3rd time she sounded like hella annoyed. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna make this right turn. As soon as I make the right turn, she pulled
the emergency brake.
And she's like, you're
putting us in danger. You did not have the right of way. Pull back into DMV.
I'm like, oh my God. I'm looking at the passenger seat like, like, I don't know. So then we get back and she's like,
obviously you failed. You can go in and schedule another test. But you put us both in danger. You wasn't your right away. I'm like, buddy,
flash his lights a couple times. Like, were we gonna sit there forever? And she was like, I
said it to see what you would do. I said, go ahead and make your turn again to see if you would break the law. So
I'm like, okay, all right, have a nice day. Bye. Like, whatever. So that was pretty devastating. And honestly, at that point, I was like, this is just not, the odds are never in my favor, you know?
Happy Hunger Games, and may the odds be ever in your favor.
The Hunger Games? The odds are never in my favor. So, I didn't really think about it. I just kept going to school and I was like, I felt like a complete failure. And then in May, someone calls and's like, hey, are you going to keep trying to get your license? And I'm like, I don't know, I guess. They're like, okay, because we're going to give you a car.